So the first thing that we'll do is we'll take 4 squares that are 4.5 inches. I've got 2 darks and 2 on the lighter low volume. And then what we're going to do is take 2 lights that are 2.5 by 4.5 and 2 darks that are the same size. And we will join the light to the dark, larger square, and the dark, smaller, to the light, larger square, right sides together. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, so now that we have these strips stitched to the top, we're going to take a 6.5 by 2.5 inch strip and put it on the right hand side for the dark square, and on the left hand side of the light square you're going to use a 2.5 by 6.5 dark. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. So I've gone ahead and added another 2.5 by 6.5 strip in the alternating color. So on the light center you're adding a light strip, on the dark center you're adding dark, and once that's done then you'll be adding a light strip to this one so that it carries around. That will be 8.5 inches, and then a dark on this side, and that will also be 8.5 inches. We're basically adding 2 more rounds, and then I'll show you what we do. So this will be where the 8.5 inch strip goes. So again, 2.5 by 8.5, dark wraps around to dark, and the lighter wraps around the lighter, and it goes up here. So we'll do that for both blocks. So next we're adding the 8.5 along the edge, and then the next round will be 10.5. So wherever you have the seam, that is where we're adding, and it makes nesting very easy to do once we get down to that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this will be 8.5 this way and then 10.5 this way, and the same on the darker version, except it's the opposite. So I've got a seam here, so I'm going to be adding the light strip here and on the second one as well. And I am out of these strips that are long enough, so I'm going to start piecing some strips together in a variety of background to make it work. We're getting very close to being done. I have the 2 8.5 inch rounds done, and next we will put a 10.5 along here, and then a lighter one here, and then another one here and another here. Again, they're opposite, so this one's going to be dark and then the next one will be light, and this one will be light with the next one being dark. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's 10.5, and then the final round will be 12.5. So now we're getting set to put our last round on, and a good place to check is to make sure your darks are here and they've got all the lights on the outside edges, and then on the light you've got dark on the outside edges. So these should measure 10.5 inches square. So next we're going to add just one more side, and it's going to be 10.5 here, and then 12.5 here, and then these are done. And then on this side we'll be doing it in the lighter fabric. So again, it'll be 10.5 here, and then 12.5 here. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what we do next. So I now have the 4 blocks done, and they measure 12.5 unfinished, or 12 inches finished. So I've got 2 that are almost the same, and then these with the light in the corner, and they are almost the same. So yes, these are scrappy, they're just controlled scrappy. So stick with me and I'll show you what we do next. This will give you an idea of what the finished block will look like. So what we need to do is give these a good press, and then trim this excess off, and then press it over, and do that on all 8. and then we will be joining the blocks together, and this will end up as one supersized block measuring 24 inches when it's finished. I'm going to incorporate this into a lap quilt, so I'll add some neat borders to it. So let me finish this up and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I've now finished this block. It's 28.5 unfinished or 28 inches finished. I do plan on adding some borders to it to make it larger. This would be an awesome quilt done in different colors. Use your creative scraps and come up something that would be unique to you. So until next time, please like, share, and please leave a comment. I always love hearing from you. Do you really like this modern style block or not? So until next time, sew safely and sew with Debee. Have a great day and bye for now.